Imagine years of your hard work just completely erased in an instant. This is what YouTube did to me, and it's time we talk about it.
In 2026, the creative phase of production happens at lightning speed. Within a single automated sequence, you can research a topic, draft a script, and generate a high-fidelity voice narration. But as the speed of creation increases, a new bottleneck has emerged, where we least expected it, at the interface where AI tools meet the platforms that host them. Subtitles are the perfect example. You can generate perfectly timed transcription files in seconds using local models, but then you have to manually shepherd those files into YouTube Studio, navigating a legacy web interface that requires constant manual oversight. You upload the file, click Save, and the dashboard provides a clear confirmation: English subtitles published. The timing blocks appear on the timeline, and the system acknowledges the data is live. At this point, you've used AI to gain a massive productivity advantage. But that entire advantage disappears if the platform fails to actually commit those changes to its permanent database. Within 24 hours of that confirmed upload, the subtitle tracks on the public videos vanish, not just for one file, but across dozens of uploads simultaneously. The editor resets to its blank initial state. It offers to let you upload file or type manually, as if the previous day's work never took place. This is a systemic data persistence failure. When a platform confirms a save and then silently erases the work, it requires a forensic investigation to find where the pipeline is broken. To debug the failure, I fed the logs and screenshots into a multimodal ecosystem, using Gemini and ChatGPT as independent auditors to peer review the evidence. Gemini identified a potential race condition in the backend. It hypothesized that YouTube's automated captioning bot was finishing its own processing overnight and aggressively overwriting the manual files I had already published. The suggested workaround was a language tag bypass. If I labeled the subtitles as English Canada instead of Standard English, I might trick the automated bot into ignoring the track entirely, allowing my manual work to survive the maintenance cycle. ChatGPT, however, rejected this as an unproven guess. It demanded a controlled A/B test to isolate the variables, arguing that we couldn't trust a fix until we had documented empirical proof that the language tag was actually the cause. This clash between the models forced the workflow to become more rigorous. We moved past troubleshooting and into a formal scientific experiment. We launched a 20-video test. Group A received standard English tags. Group B used the Canadian English workaround. No other variables were changed. These videos were high-stakes historical restorations, detailed documentaries of the 1914 Eastern Front, where accessibility isn't just a feature, it's a requirement for the research to be usable. We used a strict operational ledger called log-SAPI to document the exact moment each video hit the published state. We verified every entry with screenshots before the overnight maintenance cycle began. The next morning, the results were conclusive. Both groups, the control and the workaround, showed a 100% data loss. The Canadian English tag failed to protect the tracks. The experiment proved that the failure wasn't a language conflict. The cloud backend was simply untrustworthy. It demonstrated that we were losing hours of specialized labor to an interface that could not reliably store its own data. The disappearing subtitles revealed a much larger flaw in how we connect digital tools. The bug wasn't an isolated glitch. It was a symptom of a systemic friction I call the integration gap. The gap occurs when highly capable AI silos, like your scripting, voiceover, and translation tools, have to be manually bridged to a legacy platform. Even if the AI works perfectly, the bridge between the tools and the publisher is fragile. We saw this across the entire workflow. AI can generate tags, thumbnails, and descriptions in seconds, but you still spend hours manually fixing metadata, re-uploading trailers, and verifying shorts. The friction of coordination has replaced the difficulty of creation as the primary drain on a creator's time. Since we can't fix a tech giant's proprietary backend, the only way to close the gap is to remove the platform's authority over the production process. We've moved to a hardened, local-first pipeline. Subtitles are now rendered offline and burned directly into the video files before they are ever uploaded. We now treat cloud platforms as dumb terminals, simple distribution points rather than active workspaces. The platform exists only to host the final package, not to participate in its creation. This experience established our new operational law. Your local archive must serve as the absolute source of truth. To scale an AI-driven business, you have to engineer pipelines that prioritize local resilience. If you own the files and the archive, the failure of a cloud service becomes a minor delay rather than a total loss of work. In the age of AI, you must own the truth and let the cloud merely serve the files.